This is better. Can you talk for me again, Liam?
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
I think that should be better. At least it looks better.
Hitting that test. I can't check now because I to confirm that it's not my Wi-Fi, I unplugged the Wi-Fi on
No,
my
it shouldn't be his
regular
Wi-Fi.
computer.
I think it was just from OBS to streaming, but it looks like it's fine now.
OBS
Yeah,
can be kind of
it can be very weird
weird
sometimes. So,
sometimes. I used to do my game clips on OBS and
yeah.
always
I've
give me
heard nothing
problems.
but there's always pluses and minuses. Ooh, that new background or what, dude? All
Oh, let's
right,
rock.
okay. All
Yeah, dude,
right,
it's
all
Seattle.
right.
Yeah.
Does he sound better now?
Let's go. I've
Oh,
never done
no
like
one's watching right now, so that's probably why. Let's hopefully they hop back on. Because we are back. We can wait a few. Oh, much better. Cool. Thank you. Oh, this dude has the best username, Dr. Bones
let's
Crime
rock.
Zone. I love that. It's the best username. Yeah,
Dr.
he was on
Bones
a.
Crime Zone. Good things can happen when you put two doctors together.
But that's much better. Cool. Sounds better. Looks better. I think so. Okay, so basically what you were saying before is that you didn't really watch the trailers. You were stoked it got announced. You played the first one. Did you play the first one like right when it came out, like 10 years ago or whenever it was?
Yeah, I played it when it first came out. So obviously I was like, yo, they're doing a second one. And the way they ended
Whew.
it, the first one, like they didn't have to do the second
Yeah,
one.
they
You know
left
what I
it.
mean?
It
That
was a
was such a
conclusive
bomb.
ending, but it was open ended for
But it
sure.
was like in a yeah, it was in a way that was like a good ending of like a book where you're like, oh, like I wish I knew what went on with the characters after. And then you just got a second game. It's like, man,
Yo,
they better not
for
fuck this
for
up.
sure.
And
No, me
I don't
either.
think
I
they did
I
at all.
watched
I
one
think it
of the
was
trailers,
fire,
only
man.
one. I think it was probably the first one, or maybe it was the second one. I only watched one trailer, and it didn't really give anything away at all. It was just more of like, this is Ellie's story. It was more of like an Ellie focused game, and I was like,
Mm. I lied. There was one trailer that I watched, and I think it was like the first one, but there was
in
no
the
Ellie
trailer?
or Joel. I like vaguely remember it.
Wow.
Yeah. It was like a scene. It was like a scene. It might have been the scene where Abby's like hanging from the noose and Lev cuts her down and they smash that chick's arm.
Oh.
I think that was like the very first thing I saw, and I was like, "Damn, I don't know who these heads are, but I know like if they're gonna show us this, like
Right.
these are some heads, like these are some key heads." And that was it. I was like, I don't want to know. I just
Oh
gotta
yeah,
wait
dude.
and play.
So I only watched that one trailer, and it's funny because I didn't play the first one until a few months ago. So pretty much, the
Wow.
pandemic affected everyone. Everyone kind of had more time on their hands. And
Yeah.
I've always seen people talk about The Last of Us, but I was talking to you a little before. I'm not really like a huge video game guy. I'm more of, if I hear a game and it has a really
Hmm.
cool story, I'll play it. Because like Sony's the Spider-Man game that came out 2 years ago, that like pulled me back into like playing video games.
That game
Dude,
made
the
me
ending definitely made
cry,
me
yo.
cry too. But like the story of that is incredible, and playing as Spider-Man, it's so
Oh my
sick.
God,
It's
so
so
good.
so great. So
That
everyone
was
kept
so
talking.
good.
I keep seeing people talk about the story of The Last of Us, and I think it was right around the time
Hmm.
or a little after when they're like, I follow movie and TV news like crazy. Like all the podcasts I listen to pretty much cover that stuff. So people are like, oh, HBO picked up. They're
Yeah.
doing an adaptation of The Last of Us, and I was like, oh well, if HBO's, we'll talk about that later
Yes,
too. But I was like,
that's
if HBO's
crazy.
picking it up, I was like, it's got to be something like worthwhile to make into something that's a good story. And then I saw it was like
Yeah,
$15 or something to buy, so I was just like, fuck it, $15, whatever. E-
yeah, you have to. That's what made me
yeah,
get it on my PS4 because they did like the HD
yeah,
like
that's
remake, which
exactly
looks
that's why I played
incredible.
too. And I was like, even if it's $15 and I don't like it, then whatever, it's $15. Who cares?
Whatever. That's a Subway sandwich or something.
But I played it and I was just like immediately hooked. I was like, this is incredible, because usually I guess like more
Yeah.
like tense games aren't really my thing, or at least they weren't until this game. And I was just like,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know. Like, it kind of just like stresses me out. And this game did stress me the fuck out, but in like the best ways possible. But so I got the luxury of like, oh, I played the game and then I only had to wait like 2 months, even though the new one got pushed back a few months.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that
yeah, it's
must
like
have
I
been
couldn't
nice.
imagine these people waiting fucking 10 years for a sequel. And the thing is,
Oh
they've been
my
working
god, it
on
was
this
long.
game since the last one came out. Like straight up, they were like started working on it
Yeah,
as soon as the other one came out, which is crazy.
for sure. I feel like some of the very like key parts of the second game, like key plot points, I feel like they were decided
They,
like later
yeah,
on too. Like I feel like they weren't like we're gonna do this. I feel like they were like not planning on it until like because there was a lot of delays. There was a lot of delays where they push it back a year, a couple more months, um, which was peculiar to me because when I played the game, it's still very
oh
buggy.
really?
Um, there's like a yeah, when I first played the game, I mean, I'm sure it's all like patched
True,
out
true,
now
true.
because that happens over time. But I got the game. I started playing it when it came out. Like I waited until midnight. I pre-downloaded it and I fired it up at midnight. And like I'm doing like a scene. I think I'm like going through the school with Ellie and I like assassinate a clicker from behind. But like the bodies were like so disconnected from each other it like just looked like really weird. There's a lot of like weird like wall
Oh,
glitches and
weird.
stuff that I was dealing with, which is like, isn't that why you push the game back to
Maybe,
like
yeah.
polish all
So
that out?
it's funny because like I mean, but I'm not a gamer, so like the technical aspects of most games probably it just kind of like goes over my head, or I just miss it or not notice it because that game like super impressed me because of how fluent it was from the cutscenes to the gameplay. Because sometimes
That
yeah,
is
because
something
sometimes
that they
the
did
cutscenes
really
end and
well.
you're like,
Like it's
oh, I'm
almost
playing.
hard to tell.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
yeah, I was gonna say it's hard to tell. Sometimes you're like, is this gameplay? Especially because like in certain key moments, like where they take away like the ability to like aim, and you're like,
Right.
okay,
Yeah.
something's about to happen. You know what I mean? Like where the character puts the gun down and starts kind of you can't sprint,
Yeah.
and you're like, all right, this is going to be a key point. Like I got to sit up and
Yeah.
pay attention.
Exactly. So before I'm gonna forewarn anyone in here, we're obviously gonna get into highly spoiler talk of the game probably in a few minutes. So I just want to forewarn anyone if anyone doesn't want to know major plot points or anything. Definitely probably tune out, I guess. Which it sucks. I'm saying like don't watch this, but
Go
yeah,
go play
but
it
because
and then
this is
come
gonna be on
back and
audio
listen to
form
this.
anyway. It's gonna be up on YouTube in visual form, so this will still be here. But if you want to experience this for yourself, I definitely recommend hopping out and then coming back and watching this after the fact for sure. Because like Liam was saying, it is literally it's a movie, and as I was playing it, I talked to Daniel Alphonse about it, like we were talking about like every day, and he only did it on streams, so he was behind me. It was kind of like I was to you. I was like, oh, I just got to this point, and you're like, yeah, I'm done. And then he's like, oh, I just got to this point, and I'm like, yeah, I'm done. It was like the same. It was the same thing, just like staggered. And
Nice, but it was so cool for you to go through the game and tell me where you were. I'd be
I
like,
know,
oh, you don't even know what you're in for, man. Like he's about to
and
be
I knew with this
amazing.
game, especially playing the first one, I'm like, this game's gonna be a fucking emotional roller coaster. And this game, I feel like, was way more of an emotional roller coaster than the first one, which is saying a lot. But but
Right, for sure,
so
for
obviously there
sure.
was like a huge game leak that happened like a month or whatever before the game, or maybe it wasn't even a month, maybe it was weeks before. So again, spoiler. Oh wait. Sam just commented, "Hey, I'm on lunch eating bok choy, tuning in, making sure you aren't crying about talking about The Last of Us." And she says hi to you too
Oh
as well,
no,
Liam. She says hi to my son.
what's up?
Not crying yet, but
What's up, mom?
we might get there. Who knows? Yeah,
We're just
we're just
diving
getting
in. We're
there.
just getting into it.
So, like I said, I watched that one trailer and it looked like they made it seem like, oh, this is Ellie's journey, this is Ellie's game. But I did not think this would happen. Okay, so I did think this would
Hmm.
happen, but I did not think it would happen when it did. So obviously, Joel gets killed, like right in the fucking beginning. So I thought this might happen at like the
Oh,
end, you
oh,
know, as like a final like battle thing, like they're teaming up
right.
and whatever happens and like he dies or something saving her or whatever. And she said hashtag let's fucking go.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
right.
sorry. Dude, it
That
was
was hard to
brutal
watch,
because like
man.
when it's happening, I'm like, there's no way. I was like, he's not gonna die, and then boom, fucking gets his head fucking caved in.
Right? Some something key about the first game. In the first game, there isn't like in the you know how like cutscenes differentiate in like quality from gameplay, like just a little bit. Like the voice acting is a lot more.
Oh yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
lip syncing of the models and like their movements are
Yep.
so much more fluid in a cutscene. There's really no like brutal, gory
Oh
cutscenes in the
yeah.
first game. Like all that intense violence takes place in the gameplay. And to see Joel literally get his fucking face smashed in, and they're like making you it's not like some off-screen like
Yeah.
it's like you're watching it, dude, and you see that contact to his face, and his eyes are like falling out. And what a like little tease that you get to play him for
Dude,
like a whole
yeah.
3 minutes. You just ride him on the horse.
Yeah,
How are you
dude.
gonna do that?
That was
How are you gonna do that
my
to
only
me?
bummer with it personally because
I
I was like, oh, I don't get to play
oh,
as Joel.
did you know
No,
going in? Did you
no.
know
Like I
that
said,
he's gonna die?
I didn't
I didn't know
because
either.
one of my friends
No
sent me
idea.
is like, oh, hey, here's the leak of the story, and I'm like, I'm not gonna read that. Like, I'll watch a trailer, but I'm not spoiling the game for myself. I was like, I'm gonna experience the game
Yeah.
myself.
So for sure, the first cutscene, like when the game like first kicks off, and Joel like he comes into Ellie's room, and you can feel that like kind of like
Yeah,
social tension between them. Like something just happened that made things like awkward. That was when I knew like something bad was gonna happen in their relationship. That was gonna like teach the lesson of like appreciating people when they're around
for
you. You know
sure.
what I mean? Because like why like they just brought it in like that. I'm like, this is gonna be a sad ass story, man. I'm like in for it. But I thought that he was gonna like I kind of got a notion that like something was gonna happen, and I figured it would happen to Joel because like on the box it's
It was
Ellie, and
Ellie.
like all
Yeah,
the marketing was around Ellie. So I'm like, all right, they might kill him. But I was thinking they would be like a
yeah,
halfway through the game type thing, and there was the marketing like was so pinnacle on like
yeah.
like revenge. You know what I mean? So I thought like maybe
Same.
a different character would die, like maybe Tommy would have died, and I thought that Joel and Ellie would go to
Mm,
Seattle together. You know what I mean? Like that probably would have made a little bit more sense to me. And then like
yeah,
somewhere
yeah.
along the way, like maybe like day three of Ellie, like Joel dies, and then
Right.
you play through Abby, and then you kill Joel at the end. That would have probably made the ending better too. But I mean, I don't write for
No,
Naughty Dog, so it's not up to me.
that's very true. Yeah, I when I first started playing the game and you have that relationship with Dinah, I was like, oh, maybe she dies, and that's the revenge.
Yeah, that was another possibility that
Yeah,
I was thinking about.
no, yeah,
It could have gone anywhere, really. They set it up. The thing about Naughty Dog is they do a really good job of making you care about
yeah.
even the side characters, like even
Jesse.
Tommy, even I forget what her name is. Yeah, Jesse, the chick that like runs the Fireflies that you kill at the end
Oh
of the
yeah,
first
yeah, yeah,
game. Like everybody, even if you don't like that character, you can just like appreciate like how much work
yep,
was put into their persona. You know what I mean? And I think that's what sets this game apart. And Naughty Dog as a studio, they're so notable
yeah.
for their narratives and games and their set pieces, like a moment in gameplay that's like a
Straight
scene
up.
out of a movie, like the like leaving Haven when it's all on fire. That's such like it's
Yeah.
burned in your brain. Like you're like everything's on fire, everyone's fighting everyone. I played it on like one of the harder difficulties. I did the game
Oh
plus, and there's so many times like just that one scene. I'm like, there's so many different ways that you could like tackle that, and like trying to all right, maybe I just need to run through. Maybe I need to kill everybody over here. Maybe I need to sneak. Like so many different possibilities, and Naughty Dog is so good at using those moments to build up their characters with like small dialogue in between the moment that just like shows like someone's true nature. Oh,
yeah,
I can't get over it. Like the more I talk about it, the more I like can appreciate like
yeah.
how well it
Dude,
was put
same
together.
here. And the exact thing you said about like, oh, do I sneak here? Do I just plow through it? Do I run? Do I have to kill everyone? That was the thing like. That's what made me die like a million times because I was like, oh, what do I need to do here? Do I need to sneak
Yep.
here?
It's like a
Yeah, and
puzzle.
it's all
It's
different.
like a
Yeah,
puzzle in a
every
sense.
situation is different.
Yeah. Yep. And what's crazier is when you get into the harder difficulties, they take away the listen mode. So like you
Oh.
can't like see people through walls and shit. So yeah. You ever like play the game? You're like, wow, if this were me, I would have died like seven
Oh,
hours
a
ago,
thousand
like
percent would have
IRL.
been
Like,
very dead. So for me, the Joel
and
thing, obviously I was like bummed by it because I, through playing the first one and everything, yeah, you learn
dude, how
to
could you
love
not
the
be
guy.
bummed?
Yeah.
But
Oh,
did you understand?
at
Did you
first I'm like, okay,
understand
he must
though?
have done something super fucked up, you know, and then obviously it was fucked up.
Dude, everything he
Yeah.
did was super fucked up. That's what you that see. That's the thing that they make you look at that moment where you're like, no, not Joel. Like he's our hero. Like no, dude, you played as Joel in the first game, and
I
you're
mean,
just a piece of
everyone
shit
is
in
a
the
piece of
first
shit.
game. And you like, yeah, everyone's a piece of shit, but you don't like think about it and that's so like The Last of Us One to me was all about
Yep.
Ellie and Joel and their relationship. And the second one to me was less about them and even less about the characters and specifically, but
Yeah.
more about the world and like what people are like and human nature in this post-apocalyptic world. And it's like, yeah, dude, everyone's a piece of shit because
It's the only way you're
that's
gonna
the
live.
only way you're gonna get by. Like sometimes you find people, that you can work together with and you can trust, but like at the end of the day, like you got to do
Yeah,
what you got to do.
you
You
gotta
know
do
what I
what you
mean?
gotta survive. But
So
it to me, everyone that was hating on it, Joel dying, I was like, do you just not like good storytelling? Because to me, the best stories are the ones that
right.
have the biggest risks. And what's a bigger risk than taking the main
Hmm.
fucking character from the first game and killing him like 10 minutes into the game?
And just killing them
Like,
right away. Yeah. I do have like a couple discrepancies with the way it went down though. Like in the first game, Joel's such like a cautious dude. Like he doesn't
yeah,
trust anybody. There's that one scene where they're like driving and there's a dude in the road. He's like, "Help!" And he's like,
right.
"Nah, I'm just gonna fucking run you over." Because I know you're like he doesn't trust anybody. He's like so cautious around people. And then in the second game, he's like, "Oh yeah, what's up? I'm Joel, and this is my brother Tommy. I just mowed down a hospital like a couple months ago.
Do,
But
do,
what's up?" Like that it felt out of character for me for him to be so
do you think it
easygoing
was
and not
because of
on guard.
maybe now they've been there for years now? Because it was like 5 or 6 years,
That
and he was
that's the counter argument
and he
that he would
and
have
they
been
were like
softened
in the
up, you know?
community, like they were in the community for a long ass time. So it's like
Yeah,
maybe he became more trusting to a fault.
for sure.
Or if
That
he
would
sees a
definitely be the counter
girl
argument.
Ellie's
And like
age, you know what I
obviously that
mean, and
is
he's
what
like, oh,
happened.
he like immediately thinks of Ellie, and he's like, oh, I
Yeah.
need to help this girl.
That's something, what I didn't think about that is he's like
Yeah,
fucking old now. He's like 60 something
yeah.
in that game. And I like forgot about that. Abby
I
is
think
like
like
what,
Ellie's
like
like 19 or
25?
something. So Abby's probably the same age, maybe a little
Yeah.
older.
It's interesting. I'm gonna look that up.
But
We'll
yeah,
come back to
like
that.
it's like he sees her and he's like, oh, this reminds me of Ellie, and like they're obviously Ellie and Joel's relationship is kind of rocky, and you find out more throughout the game, like why it's rocky and everything. So it was like 19.
They are the same
Is
age.
that the age? 20? Okay, 20. Sounds
Abby's
close.
20.
I knew it was somewhere around there, around that realm. So it's like
Yeah,
that's another thing. It's like maybe he saw her in it and he's like, I need to help her or whatever. It's
yeah,
hard
right.
to tell.
Oh, I just don't feel good about it, so I'm gonna say
Oh
whatever I
no.
gotta say that make me feel a little better about it.
I mean that's fair. I mean most of these things in this game I definitely
I
didn't
know.
feel good about. So
And that does such a good job of making you purposely feel bad about
oh
it too.
yeah,
You're like, fuck.
they're very 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 good
Even
with
like the
that.
little thing, like when you kill someone and another dude's like, Matt, no. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah, and
fuck.
you're like fuck.
I just gunned down Matt, dude. I just gunned him down in cold blood.
It's like, why do you got to give him a name? Why'd you do that? No, the worst part of the game,
Yeah.
and this is probably my biggest, like, my only complaint of the game, is that you have to kill dogs. I hated that. I was so bummed every time it happened.
It's a bummer, dude. I remember texting my friend who played it before, who beat it before me, and I was like, "Yo, it's the worst fucking game ever, dude. You're just gonna make me kill a dog."
Yeah, I was like,
And
man,
then like the
why you gotta do that?
next day, I was texting like, "This is the best fucking game ever. You get to play fetch with a dog.
Yeah, that part is
This game
awesome.
whoops all the other games."
That part is so sick when you
There's a
get to
Twitter.
play.
There's a Twitter that I used to follow called Can You Pet the Dog? And it's like all like video games, and it's like yes, you can pet the dog like in The Last of Us, but you also have to like that's the only one that ever like posted yes, you can shoot the dog in The
Oh
Last of Us, dude. And I'm like,
no.
nah, bad vibes,
That's
man.
awful.
Even the dogs had names
Yeah, they
too.
did. Yeah, they did. So you're like halfway through the game, right? Well, it's crazy because when you're halfway through the game, it feels like you've played a whole game because the gameplay of this game is so
Yeah,
massive. But you play the 3 days in
right.
Seattle as Ellie. You get to the part in the theater, and then you get to this crazy point where Abby's like, "I let you live. You ruined it," and then it goes black, and then you're playing as Abby. Did that? Did
Hmm.
that like completely surprise you? Because I was like, "Whoa, what the fuck?"
So at the very beginning of the game, like before Joel dies, when they make you play as Abby, like running through the
Oh yeah.
mountains, my initial reaction was like, "Fuck! I do not want to do this. Like, I don't want to be this character." I was like very bitter about
Yeah.
it. I was like, "I don't know who this is. I'm not. I don't want anything to do with you." And then they made her kill Joel, and I was
I hate
like,
you.
"So." I was like, "We need to fucking kill this bitch." Yeah, straight. And then they made me. Then when they make me play her, it was like almost a little expected, because like going through that mountain scene, I was like, oh, they're really gonna make me be her for like time. Like
Right.
you could just kind of tell the way they set that scene up. And playing as her, I feel kind of like conflicted about that about her section of the game, particularly because I feel that Naughty Dog really favored Abby's story over Ellie's. I think Abby got all the cool gameplay segments, like all the coolest points of the game
You think
were
so?
like all Abby's segments, in my opinion. The parts that I remember the most, like as far as like gameplay goes, like all the cool set pieces, like where the you're like doing like a specific thing, like the first scene that you do with Abby, you're like in the back of the truck, like gunning down the
Oh
dudes on the
yeah.
horses. That's how they bring that in, and like the things that they did for like Ellie's campaign, sick, like the like in the hospital was
Yeah.
sick, and but like some of them were like dumb. Like when you first get to Seattle and it's like kind of like open
Yeah.
world, that like really confused me and felt like I was kind of hoping the whole game was gonna be
Yeah, like
like
super
that.
slow
And I was
burn.
like, oh, I can like discover this story like at my own pace and like see what else there is. And I thought I was really gonna get to dive into the world. And I remember there's like different points on the map, and like one of them is like where you need to go.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I just like where I was like, okay, well, I'll just like do that, and then I'm gonna come back and do all the other
Right.
shit. But like I couldn't. It just moved my story forward, and I was like, oh, well, then why would you just give that to me just to take it away? That felt like why wouldn't you just make it
Right.
linear? Why even give me the open world thing? So it kind of felt like a lot like Abby's guns. I had more fun playing with Abby. Like all her gear and her guns were cooler. So I thought it was very interesting for them to make the anti-hero like the more focused point of the game. She was a ton of fun though, and I get why they did it. They want you to like
Right.
really like see two different sides of vengeance. And again, they did such a good job at like painting the story and like turning this character that like a couple hours ago I fucking like wanted to like rip limb from limb, and now you know after a couple of days of going through her scenes, I'm like, damn, she has like had it shitty. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And you start to empathize, and then you get to the scenes again when you reach the end of the theater and they meet up, and you're just like, you don't want anyone to get
No.
hurt. Like,
Yeah.
and you do the first boss battle where you fight Ellie as Abby. I was like, don't make
Yeah.
me do
I was like,
this. Don't
no.
make. I thought that's how the
Me
game was
too.
gonna end. I was like, you're not just gonna make me kill Abby, and that's the end of the kill Ellie, and that's the end. Like
Yeah.
that can't be it.
I,
And
I thought that was the end too. It's crazy because I guess another part too, which is I guess another way to look at it is that Abby, you start and she's already done like the most heinous thing ever, and hers is the path of redemption, and then Ellie's is like the path of revenge. You know what I mean? So it's like they're switching roles.
she just is doing heinous
Yeah,
shit on the
you
way.
see Ellie, especially in her the 3 days, you see her progressively like getting deeper and deeper into like the hatred and revenge. But and then Abby's trying to like
Yeah,
redeem
yeah.
herself, being like, "Hey, I'm not a total fucking piece of shit. Like I'm trying, like the whole, everything with Lev. Like I need to save these people and everything." And more of Ellie, it's more of just like, no, I need revenge for Joel. It's like a
Right.
weird it going back and forth,
Yeah.
which it's rough. It's rough.
It
Exactly
is.
like
It's
you
like
say.
sometimes it just
You do start emphasizing with Abby throughout the whole thing because you're like, wow, like
yeah.
I just killed all of her friends. Like, obviously, you find out that Joel killed her dad, which is like crazy. When that came out, I was like, wow, this all makes perfect sense. Like, you're
Yeah,
bummed
right.
Joel got killed,
So
but at the
aligned
same
with
time, you're
them,
like,
bro.
well, kind of makes sense.
And it makes you like the thing that makes it so beautiful is like that's what humans would really be
Oh,
like.
straight
You know
up.
what I mean? Like it shows true human nature. Like it's not like on some ridiculous like zombie movie type shit. It's like no, dude. Like the once the world goes to shit, it's not like your feelings go away, and it's not like real human
Right.
experience like goes away. And yeah, that like just like all of Abby's moments, like all the like the dream scenes
Where it like all
like
goes back
really
to the
just show,
hospital.
dude, it made me think of like times where like I was like feeling low and I was having like crazy dreams or reflecting on like what was happening in my life and like having repetitive dreams. I was like, whoa, that shit has happened to
Right.
me. She like opens the door and just sees her dad get gunned down. Like that shit is
Yeah,
heavy.
very
You
heavy.
know what I mean?
And I guess the one of my favorite parts is that almost like every, so you end like a certain day and then it starts with a
Mhm.
flashback, and the flashback is really the backbone of like the whole story of like at least filling in the blanks of what happened in that gap. You know what I mean? You see,
Oh
you
yeah,
see
yeah.
Ellie figure out that she was the cure and Joel killed everyone to save her, and then you find out
Right.
about Abby's dad getting killed by Joel and everything like that. Like it all builds in a way because I like read some reviews and like stuff, and they're like, oh, what would it have been like if they staggered Ellie and Abby's gameplay? But I don't know if it would have made sense story wise.
That's what I was thinking about too. There's a couple of there's like other games that have done that before where you kind of go
Mm-hmm.
back and forth and back and forth. I think that would have been a cooler way to do it, like
Yeah, it
do
might
day
have.
one for
Yeah.
each. But I think you raise a good point where like if you were going back and forth so frequently, then the heavy moments might
Mm-hmm.
not be able to sink in as
Yeah.
deep. Because like think about like all right, let's say you do one of Abby's dream scenes at the end of the day, and like they show that powerful imagery. What makes it so powerful is her waking up the next day and be like,
Yeah. Like fuck.
oh shit, now I got to go do some wicked intense shit that I would never do in normal life. Like,
Yeah, and I think it might have taken away from people relating to Abby near the end. You know what I mean? If they kept staggering back
yeah, I
and
think
forth.
so too. Because without that, the story doesn't
No, yeah,
work.
not at all.
Without you feeling some sort of like empathy and humanizing Abby's actions and like being like, maybe I would have done the
Right.
same. Um, then the story doesn't have the backbone. It doesn't. Then it just becomes a mindless killing, and it becomes non-human
Yes.
because like people don't do shit without a
No.
motive. You know what I mean? So and that's what makes it like that's what sets off the revenge at first is because you feel like it's just a murder in cold blood.
Right.
You know what I mean? Only to later on reveal that there was a motive and very
Yeah.
reasonable, you know, purpose behind doing what everybody did. And it's like, damn, who's the fucking bad guy here? You know what I mean?
The
Like,
bad guy is revenge, Liam. I think.
I guess so. I don't know because I know we're gonna talk about the ending. We'll get there when
Yeah,
we
yeah,
get
yeah.
there.
So we're at the end of both day threes. At the end of Abby, like you said, you're fighting Ellie as Abby, and then you do the
Hmm.
whole scene. They're like Abby beats the fuck out of Ellie,
I know.
beats
Beats the
the
shit
fuck
out
out
of
of
her, dude.
Ellie, but then lets her go again. Second time now. Second time lets her go,
I know.
and then it ends up going cutscene. You're at a farm, and then you find out
Hmm.
Ellie, Dinah, and then obviously the baby he had with Jesse, which I guess I'm skipping over little parts of Jesse getting his face blasted in and stuff like that. But they're
I
side
really
characters. He
liked
was
him.
awesome.
I thought he was such a strong
He was a great
character. I
character.
really liked him. I wish there was more
Me,
of
me
him.
too.
which
And
was
that's why they
more
do
fun.
such a good job. Like you're talking about all these side characters that they build them up in such a short time, and you're like, I just want more. And but they're at the
Right?
farm. Seems like they're all happy. You know, to me, I thought this was the end of the game, straight up,
I did too.
because it's literally 30
I was
minutes of
kind of
cutscenes.
I was kind of cool
Yeah,
with it being the ending
happy
actually.
ending.
When I first got there, I was like, okay, we learned our lesson and now we're chilling. Like that's a solid ending. We're gonna play through some like walkthrough
Yep.
cutscenes, and that'll
Yeah,
be the
happy.
game. I was like
Sitting
content
on the
with
tractor with the
that. You know what I
baby
mean?
and everything. Beautiful
Yeah.
scenery of the farm.
No, yeah, that's the ending. I was like, nice. It's not the worst ending. I was like, cool,
So, but
content.
then Tommy comes, which obviously
But it's fucking not
you're
the
yeah
ending.
you're led to believe that Tommy's dead. They don't say that Tommy's not dead, but he got shot in the back of the head. You think he's fucking dead, and then Tommy comes, obviously, but he's fucked up, like no eye, he's limping, all.
I would be dead.
I think most
You
of
know
us
what
would be dead.
I mean? I would be dead.
And then he comes and says, "Hey, I got a lead. I think it's Abby. It sounds like her. She's going to California because obviously Abby found out that there might be fireflies in California, so her and Lev went to go try and find whatever is the remainder of the fireflies, if there is one."
Hmm.
And he's like, obviously I can't do it. You need to do this. You said you were going to end this, so you need to end it. And at first Ellie's like, no, I don't care. I'm not going to do it. Like I have a family now, pretty much. Like I can't
Yeah.
do it. And then you see it weigh on her, and then you're like, she's gonna go. This isn't the fuck. As soon as Tommy came out, I was like, this isn't the end of the
Dude,
game.
once he says it, yeah, once he's like, you gotta go. I was like, we gotta go.
Yeah, I was like,
We gotta go right now. Yeah, we're going.
and then
I was so down
Yeah.
to get her. I was so down.
I was
to
like,
kick
after
her
all
ass.
this, we got to finish it. It's got to happen. It's got to happen. So then
It's gotta go. It's gotta
she has
go.
the confrontation with Dinah, and she's like, "You don't need to go. You have us. You know, that's all you need." And she's like, "No, like I'm never gonna be able." And you see her have like the panic attacks and the like the PTSD of everything. Like it keeps flashing to Joel's death.
Never know peace if she didn't go. You know what I mean? Like never.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I completely agreed. So you end up going. You're in California, but then you're playing as Abby again. You're with Lev, and you're trying to hunt down the fucking
Oh,
fireflies.
that's really far. That's way further than they traveled to Portland, which is something that what I think is I think this game could have been two
It
games.
definitely could have been 2 games.
I think the last section, like Santa Barbara, I wanted way more of
Yeah.
that. I wanted to know more about the Rattlers. Why the fuck did they have all those people? I don't know those dudes. They
Yeah.
were so interesting to me.
Because that's the thing with the
They-
WLF. You learn a lot about
That
them
could
with
have
the
been
Abby
a-
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That could have been a whole another thing. Some of the things that they do with like the true bad guys, like the Scars and the WLF, I felt like they didn't really dive enough into some of it. I wanted more of
That's fair.
the Wolf leader dude to be
Yeah,
present.
fucking
and,
Jeffrey
like,
Wright,
kind of
dude.
Doing, yeah, I wanted more of him. I wanted more of that religious chick.
Oh, we
I
didn't
wanted
even
her
see
to,
her,
like,
right?
be alive
Oh yeah,
somehow.
she was supposed to be dead,
No,
right? Yeah.
I think she's dead or something. But it would have been sick if she was alive and was like in it somehow, or like if they made it like weird, or like the infected were like or something. You know what I mean? Like I would have liked to see way
Of that
more
stuff.
of yeah. I think that the organizations are so cool in theory, and they only kind of scratch the surface, especially in Santa
Oh
Barbara.
yeah, especially.
That section where they had like the infected chained up, and they were kind of using them like as
Yeah,
pets.
it's like Walking Dead
That's
type
fucking
shit.
dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, can I cut this bitch loose right now and let him run around? Like, I wanted more of that. The section, dude, it made me feel like I was playing through like a Tony Hawk level, but I was shooting
It
zombies.
did look like a Tony Hawk level. You're right.
It looked like a Tony Hawk
It even
level,
had
like,
the pool.
the Venice Beach level. Exactly, dude.
Yeah,
I wanted more of that section. I was bummed
yeah.
that
I saw some complaints.
that you only play through it.
I saw some
bit.
complaints about how you have to read like the notes and stuff to get more background on the WLF and the Scars.
Well, I personally like it.
Yeah, it's
that's
cool.
something that makes me stop and like go. Like I literally discovered everything I could.
Yeah,
like
same.
I was going through every section, like because if they divided up very evenly between set pieces which is like specific gameplay moments where you would probably like your standard gameplay, like A to B enemies,
Right.
and then you have like your walkthrough cutscenes, which are the key points that you like need to pay attention to. Really good balance of all three throughout.
Yeah, and even that, it's not like they gave away crazy information. It was more of just like little extra things. You're like, oh, okay, they were fighting as for this and stuff. It's kind of stuff you already knew. It just gave a little bit more to it, you know?
It's like little short stories in a way.
Yeah, it was like side stories. It wasn't anything like, oh, I needed to read this to know what's going on or
Some
whatever.
of them are stupid. The coins, dumbest collectible.
Oh, that was just because it was like a thing with her dad, right?
Abby, yeah, who cares? Collect all the coins.
I do love, especially the nerd in me. I love that in Ellie's thing. Obviously, she loves like the trading cards and the comics and stuff. And they find like that event center, and it was like, oh, it seems like they basically discovered a Comic-Con that like wasn't, you know, it was something else, obviously. But they're like, oh, it looks like nerds like you got together there or whatever.
I'm trying to remember. Did you ever play the DLC for the first
game?
game?
A little bit, but I didn't play. I never finished it. The Left Behind.
There's a scene in that where Ellie. I'm trying to remember the girl that's her.
Yeah, I can't remember her name because I only started it.
They walk through an arcade.
Oh.
That's shut down, and there's like a fighting game. And I think it's the same one that's in the second.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Ellie's like kind of playing to herself that little like. You don't see the screen, but she's just pretending she's.
Oh yeah.
There's a scene in the DM. Her friend, like, do that together. This little arcade game that like doesn't work, and they just use their imagination.
Oh, man.
I love that little like nerd shit.
Wow,
you know
that's
what I mean?
awesome.
Little homage to
me too. I love that she collected comics and trading cards that were connected to comics.
And it's like that's so like nostalgic. You know what I mean? Like that. Collect these fucking cards. Collect comics. They were still who they were. You know what I mean? Amongst
because even they were talking about like movies they would watch and stuff like that from obviously old movies that were made back in the day, and I was like, oh, that's tight that they can still like enjoy that, you know, even in a fucked up world.
Or like the.
Oh my god, that was the most touching scene ever.
Damn, you know what I mean? Like, what a cool fucking thing to. Constant humanity and like show the good parts of humanity throughout like a dark world. You know what I mean? Like people don't lose that. Like something that's like a big motif is like people have like hope. You know what I mean? They always talk about hope on to like what parts of your human nature are gonna like get you through all this fucked up.
Yeah, that was like the biggest. That was like the only time in this game you saw like the Ellie from the first game. You know what I mean? Even if some of the flashbacks were her at the same age, that was like when you see her and you see like the little bit of innocence left. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because when you first dive in and she's like obviously older, like tattooed, which this is the dopest thing. And I didn't notice it until I listened to because Sony has a podcast about the game and it's with the creators and everything like that. Like everyone involved in the game is on it. So the tattoo she gets over the scar, that's the moth, is inlaid in the guitar. So she gets the moth because Joel gave her this guitar. So it's like the thing that's covering up, you know, the thing that makes her different from everyone is essentially Joel. Like, so it's like dedicated to something Joel gave her. I didn't either until they brought it up and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, that's so sick.
That's little tiny details like that can just make impactful.
Yeah, and it's crazy because they have like a deal with Taylor Guitars, so you can like buy the actual guitar with like the moth inlay and shit. Yeah, it's fucking so sick. When they said that, it blew my mind. I was like, wow, because you can obviously like tell the attention to detail, especially like the story writers have, but even the people in like character development and set design and shit like that, you can like tell how much they care and like poured into this game and why it took a decade to come out. And dude, this game is incredible. So
I just found the Taylor guitar.
Oh yeah,
wicked high end too.
Oh, I'm sure. Why wouldn't it be?
No, it's nice as hell.
So sick.
Next dream purchase.
Right? Dude, I know. So tight. Dude, that's so sick. So, all right. So you get to Santa Barbara. Like you said, I do agree with you that you definitely going to spend a lot more time in that world, or at least more getting to know. Because even in this game, you find out more about the Fireflies than you did before. You know what I mean? Like you find out like, oh, I mean, they were trying to do something good. Obviously, the way to receive the cure was killing one person, but it was like one person versus everyone, you know? So I guess it
Yeah,
makes
for
sense in a way. But I totally get being Joel.
one person for it
That's true.
that much.
That's true.
It
Yeah,
was
we did know.
only it was like a small
But me
chance. Yeah, 'cause the first be off.
right.
Like you think they got it,
Right.
and also humanizes Joel in a way where it's like, what for like a 1% chance,
Yeah.
bro?
Yeah.
No
I mean,
chance.
even if it was more than 100, or like if it was a 100% chance, like the bond they shared, like him saving her makes sense. You know, like it's selfish, yes, but at the same time, like it makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
So we're in Santa Barbara. I do agree with you that you definitely could have spent way more time in Santa Barbara because you play a short time as Ellie pretty much, and then I mean a short time as Abby, and then Abby gets captured, and then you arrive as Ellie and fucking wreck shop. It's like the whole raiding the camp or like their whole like complex is the equivalent to
Yeah.
the hospital in the last one, basically.
Point in the game, like one of my favorite things is learning the game, and like when you first like if you're playing the last, you're probably gonna like be like way more ambitious to like shoot people
Yeah.
right away, really understand like the stealthy nuances. Barbara, you are like a seasoned veteran of the combat, and you like understand the game, taking out people left. I played through it. I like stealth like the whole way through. Like I didn't get in time was when I was like having more fun with it, cutting the zombies. Great thing about the game is just the game. It makes you want to keep playing through the
Yeah.
game to get to the cutscenes.
Uh,
Awesome, like cool.
yeah. It's hard too. It's fucking
It was hard. It took me a lot of tries,
yeah. It took me a lot of tries to get through it
despite
for sure.
and like knowing what you're doing. It's like push.
Yeah,
You gotta
dude.
get creative.
Yeah, because it's like you said, it's always like a mix. Like you have to be stealth in this one part, then you have to mow through people in this part, and then you have to run through this part. It's like all such
Yeah,
all such a mix.
and there's no either
No,
because the way the upgrades work, like you could cater the up like what you
true.
for Abby. Like I maxed out all the
Mm,
like to get like headshots and then disappear.
right, that makes sense. That makes sense. I wish I was better. I think I need to play through it again and be better at it. I think. I love this game though, but. So you find the captures and they're like you let the people out and they're like she's like where the fuck's Abby, where's Abby, and then they tell her, then you walk down to this beach and this is like one of the most like insane like visuals of just everyone like hanging there, you know what I mean, like on the crosses
That
and
was
shit.
cataclysmic. That's a
Yeah.
deathcore album.
Dude, straight up. Pretty much. I mean, yeah.
Like the artwork that's like crazy and gore. That's like
Yeah, with like all the fucking insides
before.
coming out and shit.
I feel like playing into like the next
Right.
when I got to the moment when these are prisoners, and you get like the studio bars.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like the
Yep.
movie bars. I was like, scene of the game. She like, you can't pull your gun out. I go, this is where it ends. I'm gonna do it tomorrow, and I did. I set like a whole like time aside for it. Yeah, I did it, so I made sure I was on edge. I actually didn't even see right away because I'm bitch, and then you see her, and I'm like, oh, you
Yeah,
look
she
like
is fucked
shit.
up.
Thing that they have where you can like unlock the like them wicked in depth.
No.
Oh my god, check that out. It's just right.
Oh shit.
A B, like the characters from different points in the game.
Oh.
1 day, 2 day, 3 Santa
That's crazy.
the beef. So you could literally like do is like so much
Oh yeah,
muscle
she's like
mass.
tiny at the end.
But like yeah, but like emaciated,
Yeah, she looks fucked up.
and like you can see like blemishes and there's way more scar. Compare the AB, the tiny details are like it's they must have been slaving away like working on these
Yeah,
models
dude.
like really trying. This bitch was fucked up, man.
Super
And
fucked up.
down in the way the
Yeah, like no
like
energy.
that is Ellie wound.
Oh,
She
and
like
the
gets
ribs or whatever.
caught in the
Yeah,
trap
or like yeah.
when they walk to the boats, and Ellie's like, yeah, just go.
And then
It's over.
one of
Just go.
yeah, one of the coolest parts is when you get to the water and then you realize the opening load screen is the ending.
The wicked cool thing.
I was like, oh,
the Santa
fuck.
Barbara,
I was like, okay.
so funny how they like that.
Yeah. I mean, obviously,
Then
knowing these people, you get it. you get it.
Yeah, they're just masters.
Yeah, 100%.
And then you see right before Ellie, the flashback of Joel's brutalized face. We gotta kill.
Yeah, and she's like, "You're not leaving."
I was like,
"You're not leaving. I can't let you leave."
Ellie was gonna bleed out. I didn't think she was gonna live. I thought. I was like, "No, you can't. You're gonna. I can't let you leave."
Dude.
I was like, "Let's."
Dude, and that ending fight scene is so brutal because, like you said, they're both like fucked up. So it's like even the punches you're throwing are like last effort punches.
It's not. It's not even like a difficult cutscene or like a difficult set piece as far as gameplay goes.
Yeah.
Feelings for the game, it's easy as hell. But I was so stressed out
because
I really like both characters, but I really need to fuck. But I really need to, dude. Like she needs to go. That one scene where they're like driving the knife back and forth, but I'm like, oh,
yeah, like no, no,
do it, but don't do it. I don't want to see it. Just see like really put the gore up in your face on this one. The gore is very, very human. Like it's not like Saw movie.
It's like real.
Exaggerate, dude. Like you're slowly sinking a knife into the chest, dude. She starts like screaming. I'm like,
dude.
I think it was kind of unfair that Ellie pulled the knife. They should have fist fought, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
You do gotta do what you gotta do.
If someone cut me down from my torso, I'd be like, come on, man, I got the boat.
And then obviously she's like, drowning her. And then Joel flashes by, but it's just normal Joel, right? It's him not fucked up. And she realizes like, I can't kill her. I can't do it.
You know what's key? You know what's really iconic too is like seconds after she loses her fingers.
Oh yeah, fingers bit the fuck off.
Yeah. She goes back to play guitar at the farm. She can't play, and it's like that everything that deemed Joel like took away, like the one
had to Joel
still had to being able to play. Hey, now she don't got no fingers.
Yeah,
it's kind of that's like not like cataclysmic in the end, like, but like it kind of. What were you willing to risk? Like everybody, homies died. finger
Super fucked up.
and like at the end, like would have wanted you to. So
Maybe.
I will say that her walking away.
Really?
I thought it was stupid. Anything. You're just gonna let her go away to Santa Barbara. You threw away like crazy wound. Everyone's dead. All your homies are dead. Like everyone killed to do that. But you're gonna.
That's fair.
Like all the cool really like make you feel kind of like we're thrown away by it's real like like whenever you shoot freak out, you know what I mean, like it's so there needs to be a third. Can't be over with that.
So the one thing I guess to that is that it was almost like what I was talking about before, like how it was like the different trajectories for both of them. And I think she realized that like, hey, I can't be the same person she is. You know what I mean? Like I need to have some piece of humanity left.
What does that make?
You know what I mean? I need like a piece of humanity left. So I can't kill her, I guess. Like I can't have revenge completely consume me.
Think we're like I can kill.
I know it was like it's like the nail in the coffin. You know what I mean? Like obviously Abby's killed a bunch of people, and then Joel was that last like revenge kill. You know what I mean?
I think Lev plays a heavy.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like, Abby, Joel, Ellie.
Yeah.
Third game, I would from Ellie. I think I would like to see her story conclude the game.
Right.
Character.
Interesting.
The Abby. But again, Naughty Dog does a good job of leaving story. Is there going to be another game?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe we'll get a trailer in 10 years
right, dude?
Or something like that. Immersive, full body.
Oh my god! So before we get to the third game, Dan sent me this after he finished the game, but there's a theory because obviously you go back to the farm. It seemed like she's alone and she's still fucked without like Dinah, you know, like. But here's the theory on that. So, this is from like Reddit or something. Obviously, I did not come up with this, so I'm not going to take credit for it. So, I'll just read it in full. Crazy thing is, I truly believe Ellie did have a happy ending. We just missed the clues. Another YouTuber commented on the letter you find at the farm when you are with Dinah and the baby. It's from the baby's father's mom saying there'll always be a place in Jackson if they choose to come back home. Also, if you notice, when Ellie leaves to fight Abby at the end, she's not wearing the bracelet Dinah gave her. But when she returns, the camera zooms in on her hand. We were focused on the fingers missing, but looked completely past the fact she is now wearing the bracelet, possibly meaning she'd already been to Jackson and is living with Dinah. She just went back to the farm for the guitar, but decided to leave it. That represents her finally being able to accept Joel's death and end the cycle of revenge. Here's a few more things. Here's some more things to back this claim. 1, when she comes back to the farm, she's not hurt or not wearing any of her weapons. 2, she doesn't seem so surprised that everyone is gone when she enters the house. She doesn't call out Dinah's name or anything. I think people were so caught up in revenge that they missed all of these details. And when he sent me that, I was like, whoa, that makes a lot of sense.
Ton of.
Oh, dude, me too.
The game
100% missed all of it.
Played the game twice. And what?
Yeah, I missed.
Oh,
yeah.
Played that. I hope people I know are watching. What's up, bro?
That's awesome.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
Brother didn't play.
Oh.
I hope he's not watching. the first one. I watched him play through it. I don't play the second one.
Oh, well, I kind of hope he didn't either, because that's a big old spoiler. Oh, that's fair. That's fair. I gave fair warning. Yeah, I read that and it blew my mind.
In the game.
Oh. Yeah.
Any difficulty. Like, bring you back to the map. So you can just, like, the dopest parts of the game.
Interesting.
So, like, Saint. He's not, like, a hardcore gamer like me, but he does really likes Resident Evil. That's, like, his thing.
Okay.
And he his old apartment, and I remember the last you just play the intro section of this game. Like
the beginning is wild too.
Yeah, I was like 15 minutes of this game. You'll probably like want to play the rest. And he never did, but I know he would really enjoy that game because he likes Resident Evil.
Sure.
But he played the end of that. He's like, dude, disc house.
Dark ass disc is nailed it.
Dark ass
nailed it for sure.
Yeah, right.
I guess going back to if there was going to be a third game, having it be like an Abby and Lev journey, them trying to find the Fireflies, is very interesting for sure.
Yeah, I would like to, dude. I really also love accurate the locations are.
Yeah.
To like what they are in real life. Like in the first game, like the first section is in Boston, and I playing through that, I was like, oh my god, this is like literally fucking like crossing like station. You know what I mean? Like going through the train station. I was like, yo, like that's what it looks like. I've been
so
there.
Sick.
So and I've never been to Portland. I like it there. I was in a bad mood. I digress. Super fucking accurate to what it really looks like, and I love that they do that. So I would like to see, dude. I would like to see some shit. What's going on outside of America?
Ooh.
Like the world up so big, they can continue Abby and Lev's story. They can
do
keep
a side
doing the
off.
last
Yeah.
What I want to know is, are they gonna bring in the multiplayer? Because the first one had multiplayer,
Really,
with the same type. Yeah, the same type of like gameplay. But the listening mode has like a meter that like burns out, so you can only do it so much to like see where the enemy is. And it's just like kind of like based shooting, but it's very tactical, and I've had many panic attacks while playing.
That's crazy. Yeah, I didn't know that had multiplayer.
We're gonna put it in the second one. It was so cool.
Maybe they'll do an update.
It was like
with
kind of like,
something.
I think somebody told me The Last of Us 2.
All right.
There's leaks. There's been leaks for game. Really cool.
That would be insane.
Especially with all the new guns and like equipment and stuff.
Dude, yeah, like the exploding arrows. I love that shit. Those was sick.
Dope. Those were dope. I mean, personally, I like fighting the humans more than I like fighting. They're being able to like kind of predict like how they were going to behave based off what you were trying to do, like the human where you could just like hold someone up, and shoot.
Yeah.
And like sometimes people be like, "Oh, don't shoot, don't shoot," and then like sometimes they'll literally shoot through that person to
I've
shoot
done that.
you. They don't give a fuck.
They're just.
I love to see how the AI interacts, whereas versus like the infected is kind of like very
Yeah, they're just like, I'm
way.
gonna fucking eat you. That's it.
They made that like way more interesting too by bringing in like new variants. I was really hoping for that, and they definitely delivered on that.
Can we talk about that fucking mega fucking infected?
Yes, dude. The Rat King. The racking is
Dude,
crazy,
when that
dude.
cutscene and it showed up, I was like, fuck all of this. Fuck this.
That's what I'm saying, dude. That scene was crazy.
The-
Doesn't try.
okay,
It only took me one time to get that, dude. But it took me so long to do it. I spent more time
running.
running than anything
So I
else.
died
Yeah,
like
because
20 times in a row. And I quit. I was like, fuck. I was like, fuck this. I'm done. But then the next day I turned it on.
tough
I think I
boss.
died once and then got through it the second time.
Once you like flow,
Yeah, that's what I
because
needed
like
to
the
do.
ammo spawn really just kind of have to like find a good
Keep
pattern.
running. Just keep
But then
running.
one, dude, I got lucky because I like was being very reserved going into that because I kind of had like notion that like I was gonna be on a big difficult set piece,
Yeah.
and so I had a lot to use going into it. But like that's like the type of game where like if you get too far and you've like used all your shit, all your resources, you can be really struggling at a certain section.
Yeah.
There's some sections that were like harder for me on easier difficulty through them with such little resources and like going through them with harder difficulties, but having those resources, like just having more options and being like, okay, well, I could do A, B, or C, really only do A, and I
And that's
gotta
it.
make it
Yeah.
work. Yeah,
Yeah, I always try to be careful to try and stock up, but sometimes you just like fuck yourself out of it.
sometimes you have
Yeah.
to. They just like force
And you're like, I have
the
one
swimming
bullet
section.
left. Tight.
Yeah, right. That would be me, dude. That would be me on the swimming sections. I like had so much trouble trying to navigate like the best way to do those. I felt like there's so many enemies
The
where
one where
like,
where you have to steal the boat with Ellie. That one is
yeah,
so hard, dude.
so hard getting shot. Like I kept trying to like dip into the
Same.
water and like disappear in the water, and it was
So
so
hard.
hard. I had like nothing for that
Oh, me
section
either. It
too.
was me just like, fuck. I need to kill a couple people stealthy and then just go for it. Like I need to get to
Right.
this fucking stupid boat.
Dude, in the first game, this was one of my favorite things about the second game. The first game has sections with both human and infected enemies,
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
but the
It's very
second one
sectioned.
does.
Yeah.
You go into the subway and there's like infected and there's
Humans.
humans shooting at you. I was like, yes, that's what it would be like. There would be some shit
Yeah,
going
yeah.
down,
Especially with all the noise and
you know.
shit.
And I think that if they brought the multiplayer back, they could incorporate the infected into the multiplayer. That'd be
That'd be
so cool. Something
insane.
that's very common in video games right now. Do you know what like you know what or
Yeah,
like a MOBA? A
yeah,
lot of video games are kind of just like adapting like RPG like elements to them.
yeah.
Like Halo, the Halo series, two teams of like 30 and you can fight the other team, but there's also like aliens you can kill on the map for
Oh
points.
wow.
That would be dope. So The Last of Us is like 4 versus 4, and it's very slow paced, like tactical. It's the same. It's the
Just playing the
same
game.
gameplay
Yeah.
that you would like. Yeah, yeah. But like if they threw in like some infected or like a bloater, like if your team kills the bloater, you get some big points or something. Like that would be fucking
That would be
dope,
very
bro.
sick.
There's so much they could do.
Yeah, that'd be.
If you still have the first game, you should definitely go back and at least try the multiplayer. It's a little aged, but it's unique. I've never played another shooter like that. Every other shooter is like very fast
Super fast.
paced
Yeah.
and like yeah, this is very slow and
I'm sure. I'm gonna need to tell Dan
there's
about that multiplayer thing, especially if they bring it for the second one. He would freak out because obviously he loves like Call of Duty and shit, so he would freak the fuck out over
yeah,
that.
dude, it's hardcore. There's like one mode where like it's kind of like search and destroy. Like everybody on the team gets one life.
Oh,
There's 4 versus 4, and the maps are like different sections from the campaign.
damn.
So like in the first game, like one of the maps is the best map is the high
Yeah.
school that you go through. The high school at night. Man, that map is sick. There's like a map on the beach that you go through with the two brothers when you go through the sewers. Um, so there's some sections like I would love to play Santa Barbara
That'd
multiplayer
be
map.
nuts.
That'd be sick. They have to do it. Everyone would love it. I don't know why they. I mean, they took it out so they could focus on the
Right.
campaign. Everything I'm seeing, like all the like uh research that I'm seeing says that it's like might be like a fan made leak. Like it might not be like Naughty Dog
Oh,
actually dropping. Oh no, wait, no, this one Naughty Dog has been victim of yet another leak with a short clip from The Last of Us Part Two's multiplayer spin-off appearing online. Damn. Okay, so it's going to be a
Oh
separate game.
wow,
It'll probably be like a
game or something.
$20
Yeah, something
game or
super
something like
cheap.
that. Just
Yeah,
multiplayer.
and it's funny too because like all of the hate of the game seemed to have come from the leak, but then when people played it, I saw like no hate on it. You know what I mean? Like everyone's like, "This game is incredible."
Yeah, one thing that I think a lot of the people that I've talked to about this game that didn't like the game didn't play the game.
Of course.
I have a friend who was like so adamant about not playing the game because he knew Joel died. I'm like, dude, you're like, you don't even really get it. Like, you think you get it, but
Yeah, you
you
don't
don't
get it.
really even
Yeah.
get it. You have to play to understand it. If I went, as being a big fan as I am of the series, if I knew that Joel was gonna die, like before I played the game, I probably wouldn't have played the
Yeah,
game.
I would have been like,
I
"What
would
the
have been like, what's the
fuck?"
news?
I probably still would have played it, but I would have been like, "What the fuck?" But you, that's the thing. Like, you can't. When the leak came out, I don't know why people read it. Like, why are you just gonna like spoil yourself on the whole plot details before you play the game?
I know why. I don't get why people do that. My friend that did that, he
Leaks.
loves. Yeah, he loves leaks, movie
Mm.
leaks, video games. He's
Well,
always looking up the
like
leaks. I'm like,
there's this
dog.
one channel I follow that does like trailer breakdowns, and they'll like speculate what could happen, but 9 times out of 10 they're never right because people are so good at making movies that whatever you think's gonna happen is not really what happens, especially in nerd shit, you know. So I always watch it to see like, oh, what is he gonna like? He's just gonna base this off this comic thing or whatever, you know. So I like to see like what he thinks and everything, but then it's never like it. Like
Yeah,
he did ones for like the Marvel movies, and they're never right, you know, because Marvel is like they always keep you guessing, you know.
true.
So it's like,
Yeah,
but stuff like that. But it's
leaks
if
are
it's like
never. Yeah,
true
they can be wicked
spoiler,
misleading
I'm like nah,
sometimes.
like I'm good. Like I don't need that shit. Like what?
What, dude? I found a clip of like leaked gameplay
Really?
of the multiplayer. It's like literally like 11 seconds. I think I can screen
Oh
share it
shit.
so the stream could see it. Let me see if I can do that.
Sorry for anyone listening to this in audio after the fact. I guess you can go to YouTube or my Twitch and
I know,
watch
right? It's a. I don't know if I do the settings. I have to like allow.
Yeah, there's like a
Oh,
share screen
jeez.
button too. Oh yeah, yeah. If you haven't done it before, there's this setting stuff.
Well, here's the link so you can watch. I'll
Cool.
link you in the chat.
Oh,
Linked in the
the
chat.
chat.
Oh no, that's a V. Oh, I guess it might be. Computer's being a little janky right now, trying to do all this.
Oh, it's all right.
I don't know. Actually, now listening to it, like looking at it upon further review, it might be fake
Oh well, doesn't look
because
real.
for some reason it won't let me. Oh, because you know what? I'm on Mac and not PC. That's why I'm actually copying. I'm just hitting Function C. So the first thing that I noticed right away is the chick. She goes "fuckers down," which is a line from the first game in the multiplayer. If you get a kill, they go "fuckers down." Carried it over.
Wow.
Or I know how to screen share. Maybe I
It's
can't do
okay.
that, but you should check that clip.
I'm just gonna share it in the chat if anyone wants to check it out.
It looks dope. Everything else looks like update player. Like the map looks different, and the character models. It's what's that one chick? The pregnant chick?
Oh, what is her
Not
name?
Dina.
Mel. Yeah.
Mel. No. Yeah,
Mel and
the
Owen.
character
Right.
is playing as her. Her, yeah, playing as
Oh.
in the first her own character. And you could choose how they look, but it would be cool to play to be able to
Play
like
like side
choose the
characters.
different models. Yeah,
Yeah, that would be sick.
they have all them. You could play as like you could unlock Abby as a character, and then like there'd be different skin character
Yes,
like
yes,
games.
yes.
That's how they'll keep generating from the business ads. And
True.
like, yeah, they just dropped a $60 game, but like it's a single player game. So in-game
No.
actions, and Naughty Dog is like definitely going to want to milk their biggest franchise.
Yeah, I
To
think this
make, so
is
I
one
see
of
there being like
the highest selling PS4 games of all time already. I'm pretty sure it's in.
might be the most.
It might be actually. I'm gonna check that because I know IGN shared like a graphic of all of them.
Dude, what about the So they're doing
Yeah. So yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
so.
nothing.
'Cause I only know is playing Joel,
No, that's not
which
even
is another.
confirmed.
Okay,
That's just fan cast. Yeah, that's just complete. Yeah, complete fan. No one's been cast yet at all. The big fan cast is him, and then the girl from Booksmart, who's also in a show with Tim Allen. Her name's like Caitlin Devers or something like that.
did you know who I would want to play
Who?
Joel? Who's the guy that plays
Hugh Jackman. Someone said that in the chat earlier. Actually, that would. Here's the thing,
and,
though. They kind of
he's short.
They kind of did that with Logan. It's like a mom and it's like it's the same kind of like relationship, you know what I mean? Like
That's a
the
good
older,
point.
but I mean, I wouldn't be mad about it. He's amazing. Hugh Jackman's
They
incredible.
could do the chick from Juno. The thing
Ellen
is older
Page?
now.
Yeah, she is older.
You get a young Ellen Page looks just like
It's
Ellie.
the number 2 highest selling for PS4. God of War is number 1, so. Did you hear me?
Sorry, I missed that. God of War.
God of War is number 1. Last of Us Part 2 is number 2.
Really? No, I played God of War as well.
I heard that was great.
I played it a couple months before. Very similar.
So, that's what I've heard.
Another
Some type of thing.
overcoming.
Yeah, sorry, I sidetracked from the HBO thing. Sorry. But
no, you're good. I'm like reading. That's why I didn't hear what you said. I'm reading
gotcha. I just know that they're casting now. I think they're working on everything because nothing's been filmed or anything. But knowing it's an HBO series and what HBO can do, I think it's the perfect fit for this. Like they're not going to hold anything back with like,
I agree. That's who I would want to do it.
Oh, for sure. That or Amazon, because Amazon has if you've ever seen The Boys is the most brutal superhero thing ever. It's fucking insane.
But I will check that out because I'm in need of like a show to watch.
So season 2 just started. The first 3 episodes dropped last week, and now they're doing weekly. But there's the season 1 you haven't watched. So here's the premise. It's fucking nuts. So it's basically if superheroes existed in the real world, because the superheroes are run by this big corporation called Vought, right? And then there's a big team called the Seven. It's basically like the Avengers. But it's basically this group called the Boys who try to take down the superheroes because they're all pieces of shit.
The superheroes are fucking like...
Yeah, it's like if superheroes in real life. There's this main guy, Homelander, who's like Superman. If Superman was like a real person. He's a complete sociopath. He's a fucking psycho. He might be the biggest psycho in like TV movie history. He's a crazy person.
I'm real. Where's
Amazon?
Is it on?
It's like the best thing ever. It's the best thing ever. I'm actually reading the comic right now.
Amazon.
So I like doing that and kind of like comparing. Like I did the same thing with like Umbrella Academy and stuff, but it's not your and Seth Rogen's company produces it, and he makes like little cameos in it as Seth Rogen. It's hilarious.
Oh, that's so fun. Is it like kind of like a weird comedy?
There's funny. It's like dark though. It would be like a dark comedy almost because there's scenes where like people are like ripping fucking heads off and shit, and it's like brutal as fuck. It's like straight up like insane. But I would check that out. But other than if this landed on Amazon, I'd feel okay. But if it was Amazon or HBO, maybe Netflix, but maybe not even, because Netflix does have some crazy shit.
No,
but HBO is the best.
Kings of drama Netflix.
Yeah, a little bit.
at Last Airbender live action adaptation. I'm like really nervous for that.
Same, especially with the creators
Uh,
leaving now.
yeah, over.
Yeah, it's not a good
That's
sign.
that's red
Yeah, it's a big
flag.
red flag
Um,
for sure.
but yeah, HBO tackling this is gonna be so sick. I did other like thing like another fan, the chick that that her mocap are very different.
But it's the
Uh,
voice.
but it's the voice and it's like the
Yeah,
character
yeah,
over like the visual. I would argue it's like the least important.
yeah.
Um,
I would say so.
the visual
Because most people
representation.
that watch this, I
Because I
mean,
mean,
obviously people who played the game are gonna watch it, but it's going to be on HBO. Like most people are going to be people who never played the
oh yeah,
game.
it's gonna garner like my mom will fucking
Yeah,
watch it. You know
yeah.
what I mean? But my mom doesn't play video games. She doesn't know anything about The Last
Right.
of Us. But it'll garner such a massive, massive
Yeah.
audience if it
Straight
does
up.
that, because it's already riveted for being so, like the story executed properly.
Yeah, that's the one thing I'm wondering is like, is season one just going to be the first game, like, or is it going to like dive deeper into the bigger world?
Yeah, I would hope that the whole series would just be the first game. I don't even know if I would
Oh,
game. I feel like
that'd be
they could
yeah,
really do a whole lot with
because they
just
can
the
add
first game
so much
as
more to
far
it.
as
You know what I mean?
yeah, you can add characters. There's so much that I already wanted to know. Like I wanted to know more about Tess and Joel's relationship.
Yeah, you don't really know
Uh,
shit.
what happens about like breakout. I think it would be really cool to play a game of The Last of Us breakout. You just
Dude,
fast forward what like 20 years after the initial
something like
outbreak,
that.
and then
Yeah,
you play.
you play
Yeah,
the one
I
scene in the
would.
beginning, and that's it. Yeah.
A little fun fact. You know how you go through like Joel's after he passes away
Oh
in the
yeah,
game. What's that one Pearl Jam song that like if I ever were to leave you or what?
yeah.
There's a Pearl Jam poster in Joel's room, and it's like an advertisement for that album, and it like never got to
Wow.
based on when the outbreak hit, it never got to come out. But Joel was like pumped up for that Pearl Jam album to drop, and that song was like a single, or maybe it like just came out right before the outbreak or something like that. One of the two, I can't remember specifically, but very cool how
Wow.
they just like Joel's Pearl Jam part of his character.
Oh
You know what I
wow,
mean?
I completely forgot about like one of the biggest moments of the game. So the game ends with a cutscene of Ellie and Joel talking, and it's basically Joel
Mm-hmm.
or Ellie saying, "I don't know if I can forgive you, but I would like to try."
Made me so
Well, it made me
sad.
happy in a way because
Made
obviously
me so
obviously
sad.
in one of the cutscenes you see before, you see them like fighting, so you're like, "Oh, he
Uh-huh.
died," and they were fighting. You know, like the last conversation they had was them
That is
fighting.
so awful to think. And then they do kind of redeem
Yeah,
it with this like little
yeah,
heartwarming moment that you would that would happen, like a late teen age daughter and her dad, you know what
yeah,
I
for
mean?
real.
And also what dynamic is they're not related.
No,
You know what I mean? They're just attached to each other through
that
their
journey, yeah,
who shows true human nature where family isn't blood, who you bond
for
with
real.
and who shares experience with you. Um, it's really heavy. My grandfather was like a really important person in my life, and he passed away right before I played The Last of Us.
Damn.
Through all those moments, kind of like being able to empathize through that, and like, I mean, it didn't end bad between me and my grandfather. We didn't like ever like really argue, understanding what it would feel like if,
Right.
and like seeing those moments and being like, damn, like it really just like makes you appreciate real world experience and real world relationship and what makes a story a good story is when you can take away from it and bring it into your real life and be like damn, like we're not going to be here
Yeah.
forever, like some some zombies, well I mean we don't know, we got
Yeah. It could lead to that.
say
Yeah.
never,
Don't jinx us,
I'm
dude.
fucked.
Don't jinx us, man.
So, gonna go like a good story, a good piece of art. You're gonna walk away from, and you're gonna be thinking about it for days. Like, I mean, we were talking about this days after we were both done with the game, and I'm gonna be talking about this game for a long time. I love telling people that don't know this game.
Same.
I love like watching people play through little sections of this game, and just like this girl that I'm dating. I started dating her. I told her I was like really into video games, and I told her about The Last of Us, and she's like, I didn't even know that games could have stories. Like I thought it was all just like beat the other.
Yeah.
This is why I love games. Like you need to come fucking play this game, and you can actually like do like mad shit. Options like there's an aim bot. You could basically who's like garbage at games and can't even like walk and aim can get through it.
Okay.
And she's like been appreciating the story. I'm like, yeah, trying to share that.
That's amazing.
Cool.
I love that. Sam hates zombies, so she doesn't care about it. This bums me out. She's wrong. She did watch me play parts of it though, and I would talk about it, and she's like, "That game seems really depressing," and I was like,
"They're not zombies."
Like, it ripped my heart out. Yes, it's depressing.
And then it like shows it to you.
It goes here.
This is yours, bro, and you're like,
"It is mine."
And then they just like stomp on it in front of you, and you're like, "Okay, this is fine."
Great, thanks. And I guess another part, circling back to the HBO, is that Neil Blomkamp, the writer of Last of Us, is involved. So that's always an important detail.
I love I think it's so pivotal to have the like original creator to be a part of the process.
Yeah.
And that's why Game of Thrones fell apart, because they started going on without.
Well, they didn't have any. They went with him, but he didn't have any more source material.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying, and it fell apart.
Yeah.
And it fell apart as a result. They should have just.
Yeah, that would have been.
I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, let's not get into that.
Last time I talked about was that So What.
That's a lengthy conversation. That whole deal.
We'll have to do another one, dude.
That's fair. So, before we get out of here, is there anything you want to plug? What's coming up? What's going on?
There's a new Degrader album. I can't. Is a new album. It's done. We did it at Graphic Nature Audio.
Hell yeah.
I feel like I always say his last name wrong, but his name is Matt Guglielmo. I think I said that right. Maybe not. But he crushed it. I think it's the best Degrader record we've ever done. And people will hear it soon. It'll be out there soon. And that's really it.
Hell yeah. Thank you. Thank you for coming here and talking me in length about The Last of Us Part 2.
Thank you for having me. And we'll do another episode in 10 years.
Yes.
Comes out.
When I'm still doing this podcast. Probably not, but maybe.
Yeah, right?
I doubt it.
One of us will probably be dead by then.
Let's not say that. I don't want to think about that.
Zombies, dude. The zombies are coming.
The COVID zombies?
What's your plan? What would you do?
Listen to whatever Sam says, because she'd probably have a way better plan than me.
There's behind every stupid man is a very woman.
Yeah, and I have a Left Behind axe, so that helps. That'll give me power.
I don't have one of those.
I do, so I have a leg up already.
That's why I said I'm screwed. I got nothing. I'm just I'm gonna hang out, and I'm probably gonna use my phone till it dies.
You're just like Googling shit that there's nothing worth left to Google anymore.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, who was in that movie? Like, as people are trying to like kick down my door for like a can of ravioli or something.
Oh my god, that's fucking amazing. That's great. I love that. Who's the best fan cast for The Last of Us HBO series as the fucking zombies are breaking in?
Oh my god, yeah, right. Oh, they did get Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman dies from zombie invasion. That's the next article you look up. All right, guys.
Zombies
Thank you
too.
so much for watching. And if you're listening on audio, obviously you can follow the podcast, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Metalcore Nerds. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Follow on Spotify. You know the fucking deal. See you guys next time.
Peace.